believe that they're coming into this one blind. And I think that Durka coming in on this agent, it's one that thrives when it comes to split. So many aggressive angles, powerful points for his utility. So we'll see how this one's going to work. However, incredibly aggressive start to this round already. We're going to have a Viper for Mystic looking to try and hold them back.
It is already nobody else than Boaster scream at it. Why don't you hit those shots? Stoma is executed over on the site.
There.
And his scream and his boys are trying to get the spike down. They don't really have any obstacle in the way. Cryptics just waits for them to enter that site. The wall could be put up any second soon. Boaster's already setting himself up with the sucks and stuns. That's obviously brilliantly done. And that's Cryptics out. Same goes for Yumpy. This is right now a retake by the book. Oh, and all the frags Durka finds! The triple again! And there you go. What a start with Race.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of that came down to specifically playing Raze.
Nothing!
That's the thing. That is always the thing with Durka. Like, you could speculate for the entirety of the match, like, if he's going to do well on this agent, or, like, whether or not it's going to work out for him. And then the agent will play absolutely no part, and he'll just wreck them with their shots.
One enemy remaining.
Right. Well, I have to say, Tom, it's obviously nothing to do with Race, right? He could have probably done it with Yoru or something. I don't know, probably even those little robots in range. But still, it's going to be exciting to see what he'll bring us with that. As you see already, a tiny bot coming in, a brilliant combination. I mean, how does it feel to be Yumpy in that scenario?
Yeah, luckily they've not invested into this round. Like, just a few pistols, so it's not going to be too heartbreaking for them to lose a player or two. They're also pushing into what looks like an absolute mountain of utility. There is so much stuff currently on the B site that I can't actually tell what it is. Like, we've got some stars, we've got, I think, an alarm bot in the mix there. Like, basically, that's a do not pass, don't walk in that direction route. And actually, that's exactly what Liquid are going to do. They've decided, you know what? I don't fancy being absolutely shredded by every single piece of utility. And you know what? That's fair enough.
What do you mean? You don't want to run into Gravity Well, supported by a Nanoswarm, which then also comes in with
and an alarm bot, so they'd be vulnerable as well. So they'd die in about 2 seconds flat.
Sounds like a spa day to me.
30 seconds left.
We have different kind of ideas about that. In the meantime, Doma swinging wide, finding the Liquid players pushing already onto the A side, and that is seemingly a walk in the park. Link tries to now get a few lurks left, right, and center. But to be honest, I don't really seem to send them in the world of trouble here. Man.
What?
No.
Did he just headshot him through his butt? Like that? How did he get that headshot?
I don't know. He was getting actually damaged with the little pack, right? And suddenly he's like, I'm having none of that. Here, take my bullet. Probably through the teeth, down in the head. Maybe we take a look at that again. I don't know. We need to enhance that image. CSI stuff.
You just slow it down as much as possible. All right. 2-0. A little bit more costly than FNATIC probably would have liked, but more importantly, Durka in just 2 rounds is only 2 orbs away from his trusty ultimate. So Showstopper could be something that comes into play fairly soon.
Here.
Scream looking to try and make a bit more of an aggressive play, has the cages in support, but as the screen goes down, they haven't spotted the close player. Durka now just sat in this corner, is going to try and force them off the angle, knows there's a second player there, and while Cryptics, there's nothing he can do here. He just has to fall back and give up that control and look at FNATIC instantly. The second they hear the fallback, they rotate a couple of players.
Brilliant. And you already noticed right there, they've seemingly figured out what's happening towards ropes. Didn't see anyone. Possibly spot the alarm bot and realize that this sort of flank will have severe consequences. So once more in front of the gates of the A side, you'll find them. Solcas and his boys setting themselves up to get the execution going any second soon, but Mystic is aware. Magnum is starting off, we're building Crossfire as well, and so Soulcast tries to get at least a few more left, right, and center. Dirk just being in a weird position there at the end of the day. So together with Fling, the chances still exist. 30 more of those seconds. The clock is ticking. The last grain of sand in the hourglass seems to pass any second soon. They keep on moving. The alarm bot figured it. And you know what I see? I see a Gravity Well once more holding you up. Or not even getting there.
Yeah, they've just got to say. Like, there's no chance for them here. This is something that I think FNATIC, although like there's still been some questions when it comes to their roster within challenges, their delay tactics on a lot of maps have been really, really difficult to play against. Like, they are playing compositions which can slow you down for a ridiculous amount of time, and that's something that I think Boaster has been doing really well with his Astra when it's pulled in, and it means that a lot of teams have had to adapt. Now, one of the teams that I think did that excellently was actually Giants. They started to pick up the pace, they started going for faster plays into the round, and a lot of that then revolved around David P having these late lurks to catch up players as they tried to rotate. And I think that's something that Liquid need to pull in fairly early, because if you get to the last 20-30 seconds, well, we noted there was still plenty of stars down. There was plenty of utility available for FNATIC, and then they also had these risky, aggressive plays that they were making because that was a bonus round. So definitely not the start they were hoping for. I will still say that I think of all the maps that we currently have in the pool, except maybe Breeze because it's still quite new, I feel like split defensive side is where you can get a lot of your landslide victories. Like, I think if teams get rolling, they get all their utility in place, maybe pull up even an operator to defend like the A site or get a little bit more aggressive. That's where things can start to become really tough. So Liquid taking an early pause, I really like to see, because you don't want to let your attacking half almost just get out of control and then you start having to force the issue in rounds where you're not really prepared for it.
Right there.
Yeah, I just casually want to remind everybody how it looked like the last time we saw a split against, you know, between those two. It was actually on the May 2nd EMEA Challenger playoffs. FNATIC casually played Jet, Reyna, Raze, Astra, and Killjoy. It's absurd. Again, a combination we're not seeing right here. Very obviously. I mean, let's say the reasons are at hand, but still, it's going to be interesting to see if what you talked about, the faster approaches are going to come in, because it seems like they might do so here, Team Liquid.
Yeah, they've already managed to bypass quite a lot of the utility. Now, they're going to be spotted out early, but a nice shot onto Magnum is going to clear him from the close spot. The showstopper in, and Dirk manages to not only get a kill, but he gets out of the corner. He's quickly traded by Scream, but the remaining players start to fall, leaving Soulcast with a lot to do, and Boaster lurking around the edge of the... He loses to a Classic. What? Zesh, he lost to a Classic.
Indeed, he lost to a Classic. Absolutely great observation, Tom, and I couldn't have said any worse. Oh no, and suddenly he's getting dinked. No, this is not working in favor of Team Liquid right now. The weaponry is not looking good. The weapons are not ideal, but Yumpy's turning it around, starting off with a duel between Classics and, well, a proper rifle, and at the end of the day, turning it into their first successful round. Who wrote the script for this? Come on, guys, please.
I don't know. I did get a message from Sue not too long ago that said incoming 29-27 game. So maybe Sue's writing the script. Although, to be fair, of all the people who would probably be almost suffering the most from that, I would imagine it would be her. But hey, if she's willing to go through it, I guess I am as well. We're going to see the Bladestorm pop for Scream, a chance for them to build up some extra finances if they can manage to take this round home. Now, it might have been, well, I want to say a slip-up for FNATIC in the last, but it hasn't destroyed their economy because of the fact that they were able to get themselves a couple of earlier victories with SMGs.
Right. The thing is, maybe both teams are like, listen, we can't have North America hold this record. We got to break it right here, right now. How many rounds did they get? 44? 46. We're going to make that. And, well, 46 rounds of casting on a map. I'm looking forward to that with you, Tom. I don't know how cynical you can be at one point, but getting away from that. FNATIC, they seem to realize that some stuff might just come in front of the gates of the A side. There was another smoke landed, and suddenly FNATIC will see an execute coming at them any second soon. Oh, this is so smart. This is so smart!
TP! How does he get away with that? The sound should have given something, but I guess maybe they expected it to be a little bit further back. Mystic, though, just hiding behind his utility. The screen has been so annoying to play around, and they don't know. There's a second player here.
No
Doma's
way.
just hiding like, oh, yes, walk into the corner, my friend. It's safe. Just try and go in. And, well, look at how ratty
no.
this Viper setup is. They've just got everything covered.
That's really horrible. You hate to see that. And as Soulcast is even being detected, you don't want to be in this situation right there. And as he's moving off, once more spotted, a second left. I think in old German we say disgusting to that. It's absolutely horrible.
What about in New German? I'm just curious, because like if that's old German, what's
it's old?
what
Yeah,
would New
absolutely.
German be?
Disgusting is a very old German word. I think nowadays we'd say something like 31er, anstrengend.
It doesn't roll off the tongue quite
No,
as
it doesn't. Right? It doesn't sound as good. It doesn't sound as good.
Catchy.
Down A.
It was a lie, by the way, just for the viewers who thought that's an actual thing. I was lying, just to make sure.
How dare you?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry.
That's disgusting. I'm getting 4-1. It's back to, well, I'll call it almost like a jumble sale buy. Like some of the players have got pistols, others have got operators. Like it's a weird one for Liquid. They're trying to make this work, but unfortunately for them, I remember I think there was like somebody asking a question about how Durka was going to perform on Raze. I think he's doing all right.
No, I don't know. Seems okay. It feels, but you're right. It feels a bit like a bargain table at that point. In the meantime, though, brilliant stuff from Scream. As he hits a brilliant shot onto Magnum. None of the utility is gonna identify him purely, and that's great teamwork. The headshot's not entirely on point from Scream. The fault line is not gonna hold him up. It's a 3 versus 2. FNATIC got a good advantage in this.
They still have to be careful, though, because the buy so far has been peculiar. And with Yumpy still having not only his operator, but also Link beside him, we've seen how good Link has been at almost
30
just
seconds
setting
left.
up his teammates for kills. He's also 1 away from the Rolling Thunder as well, which in an afterplant like this could be incredibly valuable. The nade goes through. They're going to try and fake the TP out, bait them into try and clear some of these other angles. For now, though, it's still just patient play. Durka being spotted above and a single pop flash remaining.
But that single pop flash, once they all enter the site, once they all try to take control over the spot, that might be just a game changer. Yumpy seeing the head of Doma, beheading him instantly. Link goes on, and the last player standing, that's gonna be Mystic. Back from the spawn, you gotta perform, and by the book, it is a fault line working brilliantly. Link is finishing it off, bringing the second round. And that's, you know, it's just the details that always fascinate me. For example, that little headshot coming out of the operator. How much is he seeing? The ponytail, 2 little hairs. I don't know. It's still brilliant stuff to see. And at the end of the day, FNATIC.
2 little hairs is a lot, Zesh.
For you?
2 little hairs is a lot. All right. Yeah, for me.
Okay.
I will say, I think we talk a lot about like synergy when it comes to this team.
Yeah.
And I think. I'll be honest, I think most of that, for me, comes down to Link. I think no matter who he's with in a scenario, he's so good at playing off whoever it is and supporting them in these sort of situations. The way he uses his utility not only to open up the round, but then to close it as well. And sure, it's an ultimate invested in a 1 versus 2, but it confirms them around where realistically they didn't have a massive amount invested. Scream. I was going to say he's only on a pistol this round, but you know what? I guess it doesn't matter.
Nope, it doesn't. And ouch. That's painful. FNATIC down to 2. And you, a little funny story as you talked about it. Actually, Link was the one back in March 2019 who replaced Soulcast at London Esports back in CS. So maybe the synergy, they're all fine with each other now. Obviously, there was no drama. I'm just making this stuff up. But at the same time, that's true, though. It actually, he was a replacer. He was a replacer. So anyway, getting away from the niche of the UK CS scene, getting into our actual game, FNATIC will obviously struggle with that one. Boaster will keep his weapon close and tight, clutch to himself. And this is something where you can obviously also use the time to talk to your team a little bit. You know, you don't need to take a specific timeout. At this point, try to talk things through.
Yeah, I'd say it'd probably be a little bit easier if he was not the one who was alive. And there you go. There you go. He's gone down so that he's going to be able to talk a little bit more for the few seconds he's dead.
I try. Listen. Look, your fries have arrived. But
My fries are gone.
They're gone?
I ate those during the break. They are gone.
Was it medium-sized
Demolished.
or obliterated?
Yeah, yeah, destroyed. Like
Eradicated.
What, I had that whole desk segment to stare into Ryan Central's eyes and put fries in my mouth. Is there anything better in life than that? I don't think there is, honestly.
No, I can imagine you saying, Ryan's right, and,
yeah.
going on like that.
Yeah, you talk about that raise, Ryan.
Actually, I have to give credit to Riot. The amount of things he was right with during stage 3 is he's basically he's the antagonist to Mitch.
The antagonist or the opposite? I feel like they are like maybe that's what we should do. That's what I'd like going into EMEA is what we do. We don't get everyone to do predictions. We just get Ryan and Mitch and we put them side by side and we show them every single day. And the only problem with that is all that Ryan has to do is look at Mitch's predictions and just choose the opposite, and then he'll get them all right.
True. I think at least Mitch is quite good with his portfolio. To the moon is probably the motto of Mitch.
Great.
But predictions.
Fantastic.
Predictions.
He can predict crypto, but he can't predict anything
I don't know
else.
if he's into that. I really, regarding his predictions of Valorant, I hope he's not into that specifically. But,
Okay.
You have to say this game, or also Haven, has been pretty much as volatile as some dog-based coins. And regarding that, back and forth seems to be once more the motto of Split here.
Yeah, and again, we're going to be seeing a hero raffle. Now, we've got one very valuable ultimate, and one which, personally, I think is one of the worst ultimates in the game for FNATIC, which is going to be the Cosmic Divide. A lot of the time, it's going to end up hurting you, and especially when your opponents have a double flash composition, I would be very scared to see them try and utilize that in this round. One of the ways we have seen it, though, is players actually locking themselves in the back of the site on B. Can definitely make things a little bit more awkward. But the main man we're going to be watching in this round is, of course, going to be Durka. He's got that hero rifle. Unfortunately, he's on the wrong side of the map, but with the amount of stars that are currently down, they can try and make things at least a little bit more awkward. Already trying to stop them getting into this position, but he is screwed. He's been wallbanged, and he's now been, I was going to say hit by the aftershock.
No
he
way!
actually lives to tell the tale. Almost manages to get the kill. Magnum running through will do some damage, but again, it was only really Durka that had anything, and Scream, he's looking like he's on point.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to put it. The hero rifle, it comes onto the site and being devoured like that. It's a shame. It's really sad to see, but well, FNATIC in such a round, it's useful to have somebody like Boaster on the side and coordinated and having all those stars set, brilliant. But as they push on the site, obviously, you have the animation with the hands on Astra. When you put in the Gravity Well, the Nova Pulse, whatever it is, you obviously don't have your weapon drawn out. And this is something that obviously can be costly from time to time due to the fact that, you also need to defend yourself. You saw that the Gravity Well came in a little late, you could say, as he could have already pushed that far. So, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate when you are in such a hefty fight and can't coordinate your utility. Can't really blame him. And, well, at the same time, Tom, I cannot believe the stat that Cryptix is on 0 ACS. That can't be a thing.
To be honest, in the rounds they've won, I think a lot of the time he's actually been lurking, and if you're lurking with this team currently just killing everyone in the entry, it does become a little bit difficult to do some damage, but yeah, it's a bit of a slow start. I think a lot of what we're going to see from him, though, is going to come in on the defensive side, so I don't think it's going to really get in his head too much, especially with the fact that they've come back from what was a very slow start to bring it into 4-4, and as said, on the attacking side, that's a pretty damn good scoreline to be getting so early on, especially when you lose the pistol.
Moving over here through the ropes. Seems like that's gonna be the move of Saltcast at that point in time, destroying this goddamn annoying bot that has been placed throughout the entire course of the game pretty much at that point. And you see again this entire mix and mash of utility over on the A side. It seems like they have less obstacles over on B. The decision might be the right one, as now the wall is gonna fall and crumble any second soon. There they go. The slow orb is gonna hold them up though. An immediate change of pace, Tom. It seems like they make the move over onto A, at least with Scream, who seems to bait. But it's actually going down to B.
Yeah, he basically followed the Seeker, made a load of noise, tried to get them to rotate over in the other direction, and instead his teammates have just waltzed into the B site. And now he has a perfect lurk as well, still with his Blade Storm available to him. The defenders, however, do have themselves the lockdown, which is going to force the majority of the players out of this site. It's going to make things a little bit more difficult for them to actually move away from this one. And actually, they're going to start fighting. They've managed to get themselves a kill. This one's obviously for free, but the amount of damage really isn't too bad. And Durka, he pops his showstopper. He's going to get caught. It's left on to Magnum. And actually, I think some of the knives have been missed. Running out, getting very low on the amount of blades that are currently left in the hands. In fact, it's left onto one. The one-tap machine, and this time it isn't going to be happening. But the time's incredibly low. I don't know if he's actually going to have this one. It's going to be close, just about through. 0.34. FNATIC scrape themselves around. But if anything, considering they invested that lockdown, Liquid did pretty well to make that close.
Goodness gracious, Tom. I mean, considering the situation we're in, and suddenly he's turning it around with hardly any time left. The move of Soulcast for some might seem odd, but I fully understand that he pretty much put himself at risk there, because otherwise he would need to fight back for room that FNATIC would have gained there anyway. And playing there with the time, Ice Cold Magnum, gonna find success in the end. That one blade, it's so unfortunate.
I feel like it seems so easy for players of this caliber to hit like the one taps, but I think the second you only have one blade left, the pressure is infinitely higher to just hit that shot, and I think it's a lot less likely to be connected. Now they're just going for this B take once again. The utility on this side of the map has been incredible. Like they've had these cages going through.
They don't know, Tom.
They haven't actually spotted Boaster, but at the same time, I feel like this is something they're likely still to check anyway. We're going to see the Cosmic Divide going through. But again, it kind of leaves things a little bit awkward, and because of that, they're going to throw in their own utility, but Boaster hides on the other side and still gets two of them.
Just becoming the hero with the Spectre in hand, and suddenly Soulcast is the last man standing. Durka sneaks already through B main, and he says, "Good night, sweet prince," putting him out of the competition. 6-4 for FNATIC. And the matter of fact that they don't check on the left-hand side behind the Cosmic Divide, it seems so easy to say again, because usually behind the Cosmic Divide on one of those corners, someone awaits you. But he's even concussed. Was he stunned? Was it?
No, he was. He moves almost perfectly into that corner while rotating around those players. That was an incredible play from Boaster. Like the timing of that had to be impeccable.
And staying calm.
There was no margin for error there.
Wild. Absolutely wild. It seems like Liquid are more into a fast-paced play for now. Luckily, Scream is staying still alive, and the little Tasmanian Tiger now swapping through. He's like, no walks for you. Oh no, that poor little tiger.
The tiger's just chomped on ice. Like that must have been an incredibly painful way to go. Oh, Boaster. This is big. Now, they've played so passively when it comes to this B site thus far that was never going to be expected. Like, they've just been hiding behind the stars in the majority of the rounds, so there was absolutely no reason for them to expect that level of aggression. That kills off the lurk as well. It's now just going to fall back into a straight-up A-site execution, and with Durka still here, that might be a tough one.
Hag still got his shells ready and puts that in to the right-hand side. He finds Cryptics. And suddenly it remains only a Link and Soulcast. The British duo will have a lot of work to do in this Hercules task. Just leaving them with a 2 versus 5. This goddamn annoying bot, he says. And he can't easily swing wide when this thing is just awaiting him. There's no universe where FNATIC lose this round. There shouldn't be a universe where they lose this round, because they don't seem to run on E anytime soon as they continue to pulverize their opponent. That little thing, though, from Boaster was amazing to see. That little change of pace, that made the difference.
10 seconds left.
Okay.
Okay, they really wanted that orb, and I guess technically they now get a second one for free because they took a bullet in the back of the head. I think Link's going to be quite happy with that. A couple of extra ultimate orbs. Unlikely he'll be able to get his ult, considering that this is going to be the last round of the half. And again, we're seeing a resurgence from FNATIC, a few changes of pace. One of the things I always want to mention as well is I feel like Mystic is one of those players that will play Viper on maps where it's a little bit unorthodox. Like, not a lot of people are going to be picking out, other than when it was like Viper meta and you basically didn't have a choice. And he makes it work with like some really disgusting pieces of utility that just make things really awkward. Like his Ascent Viper, which sadly he hasn't actually been playing so much. It's one of my favorite like players on an agent on any map.
And so Scream is finding his way over onto the B side. Again, one more of the swifter approaches as he's looking for the duels. Posters out, and this is a lot of utility already out of the equation. Doma waits back on site, slows them, but can he find the kills is the question. In combination with Mystic, most likely. And the Killjoy is coming in as well, but suddenly Yumpy is gonna go for it. He's gonna destroy that.
He's gonna destroy it.
Oh no, but Dirk... Wait, hold on. How's he going to so fast? Hold up, wait a second. Did they expect that he's going to wait for them? Nope. Left lane. Fast one over on the Autobahn as well. Ryan was just waiting for that reference. But either way, it is left lane. It is 300 kilometers an hour. It is a proper swift half going in favor of FNATIC.
Well, it wouldn't be a cast without Zesh making some pointless reference to cars.
Boom.
But... yeah, firstly, this is now the second duel that Yumpy has just won with a classic.
Look at that.
It seems to happen, but yeah, lightning fast. There's always the things where I'm like, I'm surprised this player hasn't played an agent sooner, and this is definitely one of them. I think Durka just looks like going back to almost the roots. I think his statistics on this agent as well, as with most, are just off the charts if you go back looking. Like, it's like an average of like 270 plus ACS over like 30 maps, which is insane. Pistol round though, very aggressive from Liquid, but again, it looks like FNATIC have a very good read over this.
By the way, if in case you don't know, this is FNATIC playing this map for the first time during patch 3.0, which is obviously making it way more
First time
interesting.
since Masters Final.
Actually, absolutely correct. Right, that was the 13th of May.
They almost won it.
That was like last year ago.
They baited them so well here. They faked their steps initially on one side of the map. They also have the Viper screen down. And it's understandable that Liquid gambled in on this, being a man down and already taking a reasonable amount of damage. And while, of course, it's going to be methodical from FNATIC, making sure they clear out all of these angles, but this is going to be a rough retake. I will say that still, with both Link and Soulcast alive, I think it's possible. Like, both of those players have been so good in retake scenarios, but this one will probably be the toughest yet.
And specifically, take a look at the route Scream is taking. This is gonna take a little while as they start their sprint back from spawn over to B main. Magnum is obviously prepared for that. He's not letting them slip in. And at that point in time, I'm asking myself, is the timer maybe ticking too fast for even a retake happening? Because they're checking so many corners, they're checking so many angles, it doesn't seem to happen. Look at the positioning here of Link and Scream. I don't think they're going for the retake.
Yeah, maybe just going to play for the exits. Like, it's unorthodox. It's not something you see very often in pistols, but hey, it's ultimate orbs. And then they can even just dive into the spike in the end if they really want to, and just make this one really costly for them. Yeah, in fact, that's exactly what they're going to do. So that's actually fine. Like, I don't mind that at all from Liquid, because now you're going to have Scream much closer to his Bladestorm than he ever would have been if they actually attempted that retake. And everybody dies, which, okay, sure, for FNATIC, it's not really a big deal. Like, maybe they have to buy some extra shields going into this round. But it also means that the orbs are going to be a lot more split rather than just going in favor of FNATIC. And actually, we're going to see a Force come out of this. This is pretty bold. In fact, a Guardian with no shields coming out for Scream. So if ever you wanted to see the one-tap machine, this is where he needs to be in his element.
And you need to see once more. This is a duel I think nobody predicted to happen. I generally think everybody was saying, yeah, you know what? We see Liquid or most likely FNATIC directly in the grand final. Then we see this, obviously, this fat match here on the Saturday with possibly Liquid fighting against whoever is going through, Giants, for example. But we get Liquid and FNATIC for EMEA playoffs. That's not happening. We've all been bamboozled. Ryan was right the entire time, and we live in a central simulation. But in the meantime, this is still a best of 5 that has given us back and forth again and again. 50 more seconds left on that clock. Liquid, what are you going to do about your force?
FNATIC are running this clock fairly low. I think they were expecting some sort of aggression to come out, maybe try and bait some of the utility here, but they've not really been given anything. Now they're going to start throwing down a few stars on the B site. Information will be had. Soulcast, that is a sick flash, but Magnum is able to catch both of them. And while, unless Yumpy hits a pretty sexy shot or two, I don't think this round is going anywhere. And now we almost have the problem of having these extra weapons. Now, if Scream can get a couple of extra kills again, it might bring him ever closer to a Blade Storm. I'm not sure he's really going to want to be saving this into the next round because it's going to put them in a bit of a hole, but it is Scream. So he might just opt to try and go for the extra damage in the next round.
Yeah, if there's a man I really want to have the Guardian holding in his hands, I think it would be Scream. I think it would be Scream, 100%. And he sticks to it. Suddenly, that economic drought of Team Liquid is just getting worse and worse at that point. So obviously, as you mentioned, forced through. It will not bring them into a great situation. FNATIC have already gained double digits. And that's the thing. He talked about a landslide usually happening when you're defending. In this case, it seems FNATIC are just causing a landslide the entire time.
Yeah, it's again one of those situations where they've won and converted both pistols. That normally gives you a roughly at least a 4-round buffer, but then you've also got the fact that we've seen 4 spies in, so it's even given them more than that in a lot of the early stages of the map. So if you're getting those early 6 rounds, that's where it gets a little bit ridiculous. So yeah, like, sure, it's been a bit more of a back and forth when it comes to the actual buy rounds, but FNATIC have just dominated the early round scenarios, and it's become really difficult for Liquid to have any sort of presence. That's why we're seeing these riskier 4 spies. While the Astra utility from Boaster, it's been on point this game. Like, he's someone who's stuck to his guns when it comes to his belief in Astra as an agent. I know there's a lot of people who share that belief, but not so many teams that have stuck with it.
True. I still don't understand why. But, you know, a lot of people were like, hey, Astra's dead. Astra's not that valuable anymore. I still think it's one damn good agent. And that combination we just saw on B Heaven, deadly. Because you can't escape it. In the meantime, you can't escape the fight of Doma and Mystic. Easy kills obtained and no real problem at that point. The next one, Tom. This is basically where it's do or die for Team Liquid. Their map choice.
The problem I'm seeing, though, is these rounds are being too clean. Like, exclude maybe the pistol round. Other than that, I don't even know if did they get a kill in the last round either? Like, it was just so dominant from FNATIC that they now play probably the purest bonus round you're ever going to see, because they really don't need to invest anything into this one. But they've also got some pretty impactful ultimates coming up. And with how close they are to closing out this map, it might not even matter what Liquid come back up with, because if you have a round where you can throw in like a Viper's Pit and then like a Lockdown or a Showstopper, like, chances are you're gonna win that round. And on the other side of things, well, the closest ult is 3 orbs away.
It's gonna get interesting, because next up we would hypothetically have Bind. Well, we're most definitely gonna have Bind either way. And then we have basically the Holy Trinity done and dusted. That's gonna bring us into an exciting best of 5 that is just heading into the 3rd map any second soon. But maybe, just maybe, Liquid could have the potential of one of those comebacks. Oh, this is disastrous for Boaster.
Yeah, that's a lot of their utility gone as well. Like, sure, they have things for clearing angles, but they don't have a whole lot of flashes in this composition at all, so this is going to become incredibly difficult now they don't have the ability to stun and pull people out of position. Nice shot from Doma, though. At least gives them something into this round, and well, that's a surprise! He went over the top of the wall instead and takes down Scream. He's making this one costly, but Yumpy is there once again. And I think if there's any way that they bring this map back, it's this man starting to pick it up a little bit, because Yumpy's defensive side operator, when it comes to split, it's some of the filthiest performances I've ever seen from a player. This is so sick.
This is so weird, I would have to say. I mean, that this works is very odd, but there it goes. Beautiful operator shots, obviously. Bada book from Yumpy. 6 more rounds. And, you know, this is the thing. I love the heaven take that Boaster is playing here. Putting the stars there in a way that you can't really escape once you're exposed. Here you see the first coming in, but Scream obviously has the advantage of pulling himself back. And obviously the dash is brilliant for such situations.
Yeah, they've done a lot of damage, and doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any heals coming through just yet. The rotation is coming from Zolkas, but they've already made their way through Heaven. Cage is ready to be popped, but the remaining players just waiting patiently. Now, they know for a fact now that Durka is going to be in Heaven. Boaster there alongside him, but he actually wins the duel versus Scream. I would have assumed he was dead to rights, but now they're going to try and make things incredibly awkward for Cryptix. He's stuck in this corner, but they haven't actually forced him out just yet. Mystic waiting patiently will give them the advantage once again as it turns to a 4v3.
Welcome to my world.
And this seems to be maybe the final nail in the coffin. That is nothing else than a lot of toxins spread over the entire B side. You don't really want to breathe in those fumes. But Liquid still got somewhat of a chance here. The most important part, though, Mystic, don't show yourself. Don't give them the opportunity to kill you. And they do. No weapon falling into the hands of FNATIC right here.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's a little bit surprised just because of the score, but when you consider what's been invested into this round, as said, like FNATIC have got that Viper's Pit after plant. You've got an operator, which, well, I'm sure Yumpy can pull off miracles, but him finding a kill through a Viper's Pit with an operator seems very unlikely. The other player also using a Vandal, so a lot of those tracers are going to be caught along the way. Chances are you wouldn't have pulled off that retake. So I can understand why they want to try and at least give themselves something into the next. But yeah, I think that like Boaster, especially on his individual basis, has been given a lot of critique over the last few days. I think he's had some matches himself where he said, like, okay, I don't think I performed. This map, though, a lot of their composition, especially on attack, solely revolves around him. As said, they don't have flashes. They don't have any. They rely on him pulling and pushing players out of position, stunning them up, and then getting the openers. And you know what? It's been working really well.
I would say brilliantly. To be frank, this combination of Heaven is just amazing. Because if you're not Scream, you can't back off. You can try to do it with the blast packs, but we obviously have no raise on the Team Liquid side. In the meantime, the attacker killjoy has been set. And that seems to be a lockdown coming over on B. It is no bamboozle. They mean business.
Yeah, of course, a lot of utility going into the back corners, but it's going to be a very fast retake. Pop flashing themselves back in. Make that 5 of the players for Liquid are already here. They have expected this. They've rotated into this, and Scream is going to start connecting with those knives. It leaves just one man standing. It is Mystic, though.
Behind the green wall. Finds nothing, actually. Unfortunate for him. And so 6 more to go for Liquid to head into overtime. And if they can actually fling back in that direction and feel revitalized, I got my doubts, Tom. To be honest, I very much do. Maybe they soar in that direction, but at the same time, it's legit just one more nail. Just one more and put those guys 6 feet deep.
Yeah, it's definitely a long way back. And again, like a lot of... They invested themselves the Bladestorm into that round. That's not going to be coming up for a while. Now for FNATIC, they're close to an ultimate or 2. Durka could be bringing his showstopper into this round if they manage to get an orb, or if he just gets a kill. And again, they're putting a lot of emphasis onto taking control of middle. And with him already up close, he's actually just going to remove the trip. Now, there is Scream watching, but this is one of those plays where that trip a lot of the time is used, well, I was going to say as an alarm bot, but I guess you could have just played an alarm bot, but it's used to basically give information over. So FNATIC are just destroying that at the beginning of the round, so then they have the rest of the minute and 10 to almost just say, well, now you don't know where we're going anymore.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Obviously.
Look at the push-up. Outside B, we've seen deep control taken. This means that they can start to gamble rotations over. Yumpy in support. But he's going to lose the duel to Boaster. Man has been hitting the DM today as he finds another opener for the team. Scream, though, trades fast.
He trades fast and he's swift on it. Goodness gracious, this could become problematic again for FNATIC as we see that though they move over to the B side. The first man coming into the fight will be Magnum. Is he going to be eliminated though? Actually, it's Boaster on the other side of the map. For a second, I thought it's going to be the bait. No, but Cryptix is finding it. Doma's still on it to his right hand. There's a Sky awaiting. Do they know about the corner just underneath? Does he check it? He will not see the barrel. No opportunity for both of them. But Doma, Soulcast knows. Hold on a second. When do they finally figure out? Help your teammate! No, it does not work. The spike could still be brought to the ground, Tom.
Scream. See, even if he was to die there, he's already won them the round. Like, he knows that his teammate's far enough away that there's no chance for a kill. And with that amount of time left on the clock, well, Scream's willing to die for the cause. He's having a solid map, even though they are quite far down. I think that even if you just look at the cams, like he looks a lot more comfortable when it comes to this map. We're going to get a FNATIC tactical pause and a Scream tactical P. So it's going to be 12-7, but we'll have to wait a moment.
Time for a timeout, very obviously. Our last 4 rounds, Free went in favor of the side of Liquid. And, well, let's put it that way. You don't really want to see that happening. You don't want to see that happening. Surely yesterday... Oh my god, what's happening now? Why? Hold on, does she have one eye? Wait, what is that? What? What?
Hey, he looks like he's been to a solid dentist there. Like, those are some nice teeth.
Yeah, but what's that in the middle? What's it in the center of Viper's head?
Skull?
No. Is that... Can we take a look at that again? Because that's absurd. Take a look.
I don't want to. That is creepy.
What the hell? What?
You've got a small mask inside the big mask.
Really?
It's actually just being controlled by a miniature version of herself.
For me, it looked more like a cauliflower, but... Okay.
Wasn't there eyes?
Did you see?
Anyway,
it looked
anyway, let's move on from that.
Gotta go look for vegetables.
Dashed with the cauliflower brain is
That's one for the future.
Gonna be excited by that one. Now, there is investment here from FNATIC, but it might be slightly weaker than they would have liked. The fact is, though, the ultimates they have into this round is worth the risk. Like, they only need a single round. With the fact that they've got the showstopper, the rares available, it's definitely a risk worth taking. They also have the Cosmic Divide, but as said, like, who cares? Now, Yumpy is going to be able to take some fairly aggressive control outside B. Now, this might almost push them into a full sense of security. Instead, though, they're actually going to use the Cosmic Divide to almost section things off and make things a little bit harder to hear for the players on site. They'll now realize that the push is likely going to be coming in through Heaven, but the fact is they're mainly going to rely on Durka to get them that opener, and he won't.
That looked like it would have been 100% on point, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Stoma, they'll get Scream, and more players start to bombard that side. The invasion has started, but all in favor of the Liquid side. No chance at all. 8-12 it is. And there you have it again. I'll have to be honest with you, Tom. I'm a little confused by that Cosmic Divide, because as you said, it sections off... Well, basically, it splits the map in the middle, ironically being split. But it basically gave them just the opportunity, that's what it looked like for me, that they could enter ropes easily and don't have to be scared about Heaven, right? At the same time, maybe there are other opportunities. At the same time, I'm not Boaster. There's something behind it.
Wait, you're not? Oh, no, you're Tom Holland. Sorry, I forgot.
Right, I'm Tom Holland. New Spider-Man movie soon.
Oh, leaks.
Buy TomHollandOfficial.com.
This purchase is a lot weaker. Oh, I had the Scream almost lose that duel. Ends on 1 HP, but he'll get a little bit of that back and even going to be healed up as well by Soulcast. Now, again, we've seen a switch up in the defense, using a lot of the trips to try and just catch off the mid plays. I think that's just an adaptation. Like, it is something that we see quite regularly, at least into ropes, but with how much FNATIC have been lurking through mid, you can almost gamble a lot of that utility there. And for now, at least, They've got the Cam to try and support Link. Now, they can afford to leave him on his own because he currently has the Rolling Thunder, which, of course, although won't necessarily stop them from shooting at him, it will delay them. That is one of the rattiest things I've ever seen anyone do.
I know what you see.
Which is just purchase the shotgun alongside it and then just have it as a backup plan in case they rush.
Oh, Cryptic's gonna have a problem back there in Link, but no issue. It's gonna work easily. Soulcast waiting back on site. At that point, the British duo over on A will most likely have a quite easy time devouring the incoming FNATIC players. Dirk as well, Mystic. Well, good luck and fun with that one. 20 more seconds to get any control over the site and pulverize your opponent. But with that flashbang, it might be just an invitation for Cryptics to stay and get those kills. Well, we get dangerously close, Tom. I'll be honest, we get in really dangerous territory at this point.
Yeah, no, it is. It's that defensive side. They've started to really get things moving. I think as well, they've started to deny a lot of that mid control and even winning rounds against some of these ultimates. I will say, I want to give credit again. I think the A-site defense from Liquid has just been solid. No matter whoever they seem to put there, like Link is always good to get himself a double kill, but the crossfires and synergy they've had, even been fairly willing to give up Heaven as well and just play from within the site. And even with all of that space, Fnatic have been able to do very little with it. For this round, though, it's a slightly better purchase, but actually it's going to be Durka who's left just on an SMG. Now, he's got his blast packs available. He can get himself fairly close to players without it causing too many issues. He's going to get stunned up fairly early on, but, wow, I don't think that's going to play a huge part. And you can actually see, again, I believe Link is getting ready to try and use that Rolling Thunder. They're going to try and play off of this.
The question is Fnatic gonna bait it or not? Well, oh, this is becoming problematic. Oh no, Dirk, he could have got him there, but nope, suddenly he hits the wrong timing by milliseconds or something. And as Magnum waits in the corner, one flashbang that is non-existent, obviously. How could I forget? But Magnum, though, knows how to squeeze that trigger. 50 seconds, execution. Which direction? Not set.
Fnatic actually have a res here. Now, it's not necessarily in the greatest of places, but I think they're going to be able to regather up this control. It's going to leave the clock fairly low, but it's definitely worth it. You're going to get Durka back into play. There might even be a weapon for him to find as well. And now with 30 seconds left, well, I think it almost has to be a B play. There's not really much of an option. They're going to try and sell things over, but look at the other side. Link is already wrapped in behind them. Now, there is going to be a turret watching. Scream already manages to pick off one, but there's the perfect timing. Taking out Magnum. Peek back in from Yuppie, but he whips. Both players whip. What has just happened there? Durka goes down, and now it's left all onto Boaster. He's had a strong map, but he needs the 1 versus 2 to close it. A player up above as he looks to try and wrap around the TP into the site, and Link, he's going to win them another round. An impactful triple kill from start to finish, opening and closing, and Liquid are going to get their 10th.
I can't believe it. I'll be honest with you, I cannot believe it. Entering back CT spawn, I thought, okay, Durka got this, Yuppie will stand no chance. And suddenly, massive 180. Tables turned and all in favor of Liquid. And the question is, how much impact do the nerves of Fnatic have here? How annoyed or how much in a bad mood is this team at that point in time? How much is this comeback getting to them? Because take a look. You thought this would be easy.
Yeah, I think we've even got some people believe it. Like, I've just seen Halo on Twitter say that Fnatic have won this map emphatically. Well, it doesn't look like it, Halo. I think you might have read into that one a little bit early, my friend. So
delete the tweet.
Delete the tweet.
There's
it wasn't Team
time.
Liquid this time, at least. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, it's going very badly wrong. Sure, again, this is going to be a weaker purchase, but this is just looking like a farming simulator rather than Valorant. Because already they'll find themselves a couple of kills. And, well, Mystic at least gets one. That's something. They'll have a pretty decent combo of ultimates for the next round. Now, there's not going to be any heroics from him this time as we hit 12-11. Now, although, sure, Liquid have done a lot of the hard work fighting back, I'm looking at a lockdown Viper's Pit combo for the potential last round of regulation. And you know what, Zesht? I think that should be enough to close it for Fnatic. But with the way that Liquid have been playing over the last few rounds, I'm not gonna question anything at this point.
Well, Tom, I will say it like this.
Here.
You tell me, is something along the lines of let's say,
Let's go.
11-4 lead enough to make the victory work, or a lockdown and a Viper's Pit. I don't know how you feel about this, but I thought this would be done way earlier. And Liquid, they show a fighting spirit by the book. Really, they stay here staunch and strong, and at the same time, FNATIC in despair, question mark.
A little bit of space being garnered. Will they expect Scream to be here? That's the question. He's taken quite a bit of damage on his way through, but again, looking at the current position of the remaining two players, it's looking like a ruse. Yumpy, though, with the swing back in. But if you notice, those two impactful ultimates are waiting on the other side of the map. The point is to try and clear out this site, get themselves the after plant. We see the poison orb going over the top to section off the back of the site. They've still got to clear those couple of players out, because realistically, this could become a little bit awkward. I love the combo, though. Try to spam them out the back. Duck, he's actually missed his blast pack.
No way.
It could be awkward, and it's actually Magnum to go down. Cryptic's waiting in the corner, not expected. And now we have a 3v2.
And not only do we have a 3v2, we also have a flank in form of Scream. No way that Doma whiffed the wall this way, but he can escape. Back into the fumes he goes, and the green acid laying over on the A site might be the cover that FNATIC need. They veiled the bomb just in the Viper's Pit, and the rest of the crew of Liquid are now setting themselves up to retake the site and slam themselves into overtime. Scream is out, and Doma might just keep on doing it. It is only down to Doma, and on the other side of that wall, Yumpy awaits. He gets the kill.
My
Goodness gracious. 13-11 is the way to end it. Why not make it any closer?